Hi, this is a short explainer for my cut up solo Hour of the Dragon book. Now, uh, cut up solo is slightly different to some of the more traditional Oracle based solos that I've been doing. And the cut up part is the special bit, and I'll cover that second. First of all, you still get a basic yes no Oracle with this. Um, so, page 13. So it's a 2d20 system, and it's like rolling with advantage. So if you think it's likely to be yes, you roll 2d20 and pick the highest. If you think it's likely to be no, roll 2d20 and pick the lowest for no. So it's very, very simple. There's one or two other little tweaks in there um, to give you the greater graduation. Um, but that's basically it. But uh, the cut up is the interesting bit. Now, the way cut up works is that you literally take snippets of a text. Here you're seeing, there's 20 snippets there, and these all came from Arrow of the Dragon. You get them, you look at them, and you pick out bits and try and kind of slot them together to create um, what the game master said to you. And then once you've constructed that, you can then say, and you imagine you construct the sentence, and the game master says, "So what do you do?" And then you describe what you do next. That's the way the solo works. You've described your action, you grab some more snippets, and the game master tells you what happened. So it's still random, but random in a different way. It's not getting two words, which you then have to interpret. Um, if you don't like what you've got, you can just discard a load and roll some more. Um, so there's kind of an odd mix here, and I picked out Change to a Shriek of Spy from Aquilonia, Dangerous to Us, Pikeman marched into guarded the Royal Pavilion. And then I chopped them about a little bit, and I got Change to a Shriek of Spy from Aquilonia, Dangerous to Us, the Pikeman marched into the Royal Pavilion. So I've added in an opening quote. I've added in the chopped out guarded and got something that's kind of a sentence. Later on, there's an example of play here. So that's that same block there. Um, Now there's kind of two ways of at least two ways of dealing with these blocks. One way is to treat it as literally the words the game master said to you. Um, Now, I speak very, very bad German. If I was trying to run a game for you in German, that this is kind of how I'd end up speaking. My sentence construction is terrible, um, and so you get this kind of strange language. But the other way of doing it is to treat it as a really chatty oracle that's giving you loads of information rather than just one or two words or a game icon or something. Um, and that's the way at the moment I'm leaning. So the gold yellow boxes are the cut ups. The blue boxes are telling you how I'm interpreting it. So from this first bit, I'm imagining the entire opening scene of this game. And it says, I can imagine a tourney with rich pavilions set up. At the centre is the grandest of all, the Royal Pavilion. People of all walks of life are thrust together. Jesters are juggling. Hawkers are selling food from trays suspended around their necks. Knights in full armor force their way through the crowd. That's when I hear the shout goes up. The mood changes, and you feel the soldiery keeping the peace, close ranks, and a file of pikemen head to the Royal Pavilion and form a ring of protection around it. I look around and try and see where the shout came from. So the first bit is me adding flesh to the bones of what the cut-ups gave me, turning that into a scene that I can picture. And then I've got, okay, I'm not particularly dynamic in this section, but I look around and see where the shouts are coming from. So then I rolled. There's a dice mechanic here for selecting cut-ups. I rolled another set of cut-ups and put them together, inserted a word, and I got shouting of men echoed under surrounding trees, the hot and slashed down with his sword to the altar and halted. Which, and then in the blue, there's my interpretation of it. I can see a knot of men in amongst the trees near a druidic altar. Over the heads, I see a bloody blade lifted and chopped downwards. I cannot see what's going on, but I try and press my way through the crowd to get closer. So, we've got more information from the cut-up game master, my interpretation, and my actions, and so it goes on. Now, the way you're going to select the cut-ups is with a D1000, which is 3D10. The first one for hundreds, second one for tens, third one for units, triple O is 1,000. Or my dice roller here has got a nice posh D1000. So if I roll those, I get 544. Now, the second half of this book is the snippets. The numbers are down the middle, 2 complete sets, so you get 2,000 snippets, but you can use one set for the first session, then change to the next so you don't get too much repetition. And 504 takes us down to 544, sorry, takes us down to here for us with the horses. All right. Now, if you hold down Alt and highlight, you can take a block. So I could take 5 of these, copy and paste them into a text editor or a word processor, make 3 or 4 rolls with the D100, and that's it. I've got 15, 20 snippets. They're already random, so they're not going to make sense on their own. But that's easier than making 15 or 20 D1000 rolls. You can select from either column as you choose. Now the PDF has got 1,000 snippets in it, 2,000 snippets of 4 or 5 words each. But there's also bundled in with the PDF is a spreadsheet. Now it's in ODF format and Excel format, depending on which you prefer. This is the Excel one. The green, can you see it? Yes, you can see snippets. This has 20 snippets, and if you press F9 in either version, it grabs another 20. So rather than having to make the dice rolls, you can just grab them as you like. The other alternative is this Hour of the Dragon. That has got all 17,000. Let's just whip down the bottom here and see. 16,921. It's got them all in there. The entire text of the book, chopped up and randomized. Now, what you can do with this is if you do a find and put in, let's say, blade, because you're in a fighting scene and you want something a bit more themed, and find all, what you get is it's pulled out the snippets that relate to blade. So then you could put in cut, and it finds all of the cutting references. And so you can either use it for chance using snippets, or use it dip into specific words for when you want something. Excuse me a second. For when you want something tightly themed. So that's what you're going to get. Now, this is my first attempt at really structuring a cut-up solo book. Everything comes from the same story, so it's nice and tightly themed, as I said. These are going to be slightly cheaper than my usual books, and for the most part, most of the front matter is going to remain fairly the same. It's the same oracle. Obviously, it will become then more tightly themed uh, to whatever the game is. I'm expecting people to be using this with either the Heroes of Hyperborea or maybe just D&D, something fantasy based. Um, the if you're doing something D&D based, it's D20, so you've got the D20s. If you're using the 2D20 system, you'll have handfuls of D20s lying around. So that should fit. The samples of play will change from book to book. But so that's it. This follows on from some recent videos on cut up play. I hope you like it, and yeah, if you do, give me some feedback either on YouTube here or on the discussion tab from this product. And that's it. Thanks a lot.